Welcome back to session 7 of 9 on this 3DUserNet tutorial series. In the last session, we added various measurements to our scene, including distance, heights, points, spot heights, and profiles. So today we're going to look at creating views within the 3DUserNet platform and then saving states. So here's where we left off, and I'm going to start with what we call a line of sight. This isn't technically what we describe as a new view, but it allows us to add a person in our scene and take their eye position. So within our measurement tool set, we have this binocular icon. I'm just going to select that and click on a point in the scene. I'll just give it a name. I'm going to select male and standing. For the height, I can select a pre-configured setting here. But if I want, I can add a height manually in here, and that would be in meters. I'm just going to set a color. And that drops a person into our scene. So just going to come in a bit closer, and you can see that it's just a generic low poly model of a male figure. Now if I double click on him, the camera moves to his line of sight. Not his head height, but to his physical eye height. The camera has also changed to a first person mode, so we can look at our building from his eye height. The same rules apply to standard navigation, so right click will get us back into orbit mode. So now I'm out of that view. Now if I want to move my figure, I can. He behaves just like any other model or line work, so I press spacebar and select my figure. The same rules apply, so E for scale, R for rotate, and T for transform. I'm not going to worry about scaling him, so I'm just going to move him back a bit. And then I'm going to rotate him a little bit towards the door. So now if I double click on him, it goes to my updated viewpoint. So I'm just going to add another person to the other side of this view. So I'm just going to add another person to the other side of this wall. There we go, all done. Now just double click to go to her viewpoint. My point density is still quite thick from carrying out the measurements, so I'm just going to drop that back down. So the next thing to cover is saving views. So we'll move a camera to get a generic view of our scene. We can change the order of these later, but let's try and get them in the right order that we want them. So once we've got a good view, within our menu system, we've got this I button. We just click on that. This sets the view and we can give it a title. And then we just go to the next view. Maybe a bit more into the data. So now the line of sights are interactive objects only, and they won't be included in our view list. So if I want to be able to cycle an eye height in my views, I have to double click the person and create a view here. So lastly, let's create a plan of the scene. So I'll move my camera to a top view. And at the moment we're in perspective mode. So I need to go to my settings and change to orthographic mode. I can also use the shortcut key F2 to toggle between ortho and perspective. Just rotate my view to straighten up the building line, and I'll save that out as a new view. So on the bottom left I can use my arrows next to the eye to move between the views I've just saved. If I want to go back to my first view, I can click on the eye and that will take us back. So that resets us back to the starting point. Also, within the Data Management tab, I have the views in here too. Under Saved Views, I can see all the views that I've created, and I can change the order of them. So I can bring my ortho view above my eyesight view. I don't particularly want to do that, so we'll keep the order as is. Also at the top of the menu you can see that I can manually select a camera position as well. So if I know my XYZ position, or I want to move a camera by a fixed amount, I can do that here. Lastly, on this Views menu, we can set the project thumbnail. Once I'm happy with the view of my scene, we just click the button here. And that's going to save an image of the scene. The title here is important because if this is shared on social media or added to a blog page, then it will pick up the image and the title and use this. We're just going to copy the title to the description and hit save. So lastly, we'll just go through and save the state. We've been doing this throughout the tutorial. Every time we've done that, we've added to a series of saved files. In the final session of this tutorial, we'll be showing you how you can share these out. But they all exist within your Data Management tab. You can change the order of these as well as you can do for views. I can then cycle through them using these arrow buttons next to the clock face. So state 1 is where we created the height map. State 2 is where we aligned the line work. State 3 was our clipboxing, and so on. So lastly, there is a set launch button. If we activate our last state, and then press this button, then when the project loads, it will load this state straight away. So in the next session, we'll be looking at assigning licenses and privileges to a user, and then we'll be creating groups which then can be assigned to a project. Thank you for your time and look forward to seeing you on the next one.